Let's resume the workshop on this morning. We are starting now the third part, focus on which we call this part ecosystem, RI4C2 connections to EC2U, thinking on the future, thinking on what I'm going to be providing to the EC2U Alliance during the second phase. As you know, RI4C2 is a bridge project between EC2U first phase and EC2U consolidation phase. And we are going to start with our colleague, Fernando Almaraz. For me, it's a real honor to introduce our colleague Fernando, because he's professor of economics at the University of Salamanca, among other positions and attributions. And currently, he is the secretary of the NEHI, a network of innovative universities consisting of 35 entities, if I'm not mistaken. With the secretariat of this network is being hosted by the University of Salamanca. So please, Fernando, you are welcome to the RI4C2 project, and it's your time.
Thank you, Jorge. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, the project, for giving me the opportunity to introduce NEHI network and this project of a conference about university living labs. The honor is mine. So first of all, what is NEHI? The European Network of Innovative Higher Education Institutions. This is a network of 38 higher education institutions recognized by the European Commission for their outstanding performance in some area of innovation. We as a network develop collective innovative thinking of how higher education can drive innovation. And we form a forum to exchange knowledge, ideas, and experiences on how higher education can promote an innovation culture in the university ecosystem, the European university ecosystem. We are a cross-section of the European higher education system. 20 university alliances have representatives in NEHI, and there are another, some of them, 6 of them have 2 or more representatives, and other 11 members of NEHI are in no alliance. So we want to exchange and leverage experiences across various innovation domains to act as role models for the higher education sector in general. The Commissioner of Innovation announced NEHI first time in June 2022, so we are a young network. 27 of NEHI members were nominated by the governments of the member states, and the rest were appointed directly by the European Commission. That was the case of the University of Salamanca. We were appointed by the Commissioner, Maria Gabriel, at that moment, and we were appointed as the coordinators of the Secretariat of the network. Our roles are these 3, mainly to support higher education system in general, to foster European innovation within the framework of these main European policies, the European Strategy of Universities and the new European Innovation Agenda, and to offer suggestions to the European Commissioner's services and other European university agents, or innovation agents, sorry. These are the 38 members. And this is the geographical distribution. So we have at least one university of each member state, 2 of them in many cases. And as I said, we are a cross-section of the European university system. So we are working to develop collective innovation or innovative thinking on how higher education can drive innovation, entrepreneurship, and talent. We exchange knowledge and experiences. We want to support the European higher education sector, and our main goal is to offer recommendations to foster innovation. We want to be a collective voice on how to build innovation-relevant actions and capabilities. We started with a conference here in Salamanca in September 2022, and then we have had another 3 in the University of Primorska, in Slovenia, the Technical University of Gabrovo in Bulgaria, and the last one last December at the University of Aveiro, and the next one the next one in Venice in June of this year. So far we have published 2 reports. The first one was our first task. The commissioner wanted a report with suggestions about the new European innovation agenda, and we released this support in December 2022 with 10 recommendations and 1 note on innovation and higher education in Europe. We have released this year another report about empowering women's leadership in deep tech, a holistic approach, and we are working to find the best place to present this report at this moment. And there are another 3 reports in preparation with recommendations of another subjects of innovation, of university innovation. You have a copy of the first report, the 10 recommendations report. That was the result of the conference that we held here in Salamanca. The method to produce this report was simple. We started with the challenges that the European Innovation Agenda posed, and we shared here the best practices about the flagships of the NEIA, and then we produced 10 recommendations. The recommendations are related with, for example, the funding of higher education spin-outs companies, or there are recommendations for reinforcing the role of universities in regional deep tech innovation valleys, and so on. You can see in the slide the 10 recommendations. There is an 11 recommendation that we transformed in a note on interdisciplinary, because we thought that one of the weak points of the NEIA was that is very focused on technology, deep tech, and so on, and there are very few notes on social sciences and humanities in general. The second recommendation was about the creation of university living labs. We, after the presentation of this report, we created 5 working groups, and the first one is at this moment about university living labs. We wanted to explore this idea of living labs in the context of universities. Because we thought, or we found that it is a very powerful tool for universities in general. So this working group, made up of 13 universities, was working last year in a workshop to share knowledge and to reflect about the idea of living lab in the context of universities. We studied 10 cases of our universities. These are the universities involved in the working group, and we found that maybe we should have more case studies and to know other experiences about out of these 13 universities. So the working group reached some conclusions. One is an extended definition of university living labs. We found that within NEA, there are different conceptions and experiences of what a university living lab is, but there are also common points. For example, living labs address a challenge in any cases, can be regarded as an integrated part of the academic work in both education and research. There are, or they are open to the society. They involve at least one non-academic stakeholder, are built on trust between the participants, the stakeholders, and can contribute, can make a societal impact and transfer academic research and knowledge. So we found also that we had common challenges about funding university living labs, about physical spaces, about engagement of students and researchers, about recognition for researchers or academics, and also for students participating in these activities, and so on, about the sustainability and the visibility of the living labs, and about the complexity of running a living lab and creating value on a living lab. So the working group decided to give another round to the idea of university living labs and presented this project of making a university living labs conference to again share case studies, share experiences, but also to explore the future of this idea of university living labs, and hopefully to shape the future of the idea. The main points of the project are these. The organizers will be NEA in the first, for the most work to do. We have the support of EC2U at this moment. We expect to get the support of other alliances. Unique is giving good signals at this moment. The idea is to hold the conference here at the University of Salamanca. Some date, November or December of this year. We are working on the date. We expect about 70 attendees because, as I said, 20 alliances have representatives in NEA. So we are 38 universities, and maybe other universities of our alliances could join the conference, with about 70 people here in Salamanca discussing these topics, and with full support from the University of Salamanca in order to certificate or produce diplomas, etc. The idea of the conference is to have 4 tracks. The first one to share university labs experiences, maybe with different sub-tracks. I mean, university living labs focused on deep tech or on social innovation or in humanities and so on. The second track is about models of management of this strange type of organizational unit within the universities. It is very important, the third one, about European Union policies for fostering university living labs. And we want to add a 4th track that will be a workshop on how to set up and manage university living labs. We plan to do this in an academic style. We will produce proceedings with all the papers, the communications, and we would like to publish, as a result of the conference, 2 reports. The first one with policy recommendations for fostering university labs in the European higher education. So this is directed to the European Commissioner, that is our first stakeholder, talking about NEHA, and another one for the whole European university sector, with guidelines for setting up and managing university living lab. And this is it. Thank you very much.
To continue with the program, I'm calling to the colleagues from Iasi to present the video. Maybe Ana Yolanda, if you want just to very briefly to introduce the video is prepared on behalf of your colleagues from Iasi.
Okay. First of all, I would like to apologize on behalf of my colleagues who weren't able to be here today. As you already know, yesterday we have our election, so our vice rector wasn't able to join our meeting in Salamanca. While Professor Alboaie, currently she's traveling to Nice, France, because she's part of Cost Action, and currently she will not be able to join neither online, but she already prepared a presentation and pre-recorded it in case she will not be managed to directly participate. Okay, so I'll give the floor to Jorge to share the presentation from my colleagues. If there are any questions, I will try my best to answer them. If my expertise, because I'm not an expert in open science, if additional questions are required, I will send them to my colleagues, and the answer will be provided to Pauline, who will share the information with all of you. Thank you very much.
Today, I would like to discuss Alexandru Ioan Cuza, university's approach to incorporating open science into its research and education policies. In a time when collaboration and openness are increasingly valued, the university is taking steps to align with these principles. By adopting open science, Alexandru Ioan Cuza University aims to enhance interdisciplinary cooperation and make academic work more inclusive and accessible. Let's delve into how this initiative is contributing to a shift in the academic landscape, encouraging a culture of shared knowledge and openness. This presentation will briefly outline the key aspects of Alexandru Ioan Cuza University's dedication to open science, emphasizing openness, collaboration, and innovation. We will highlight the university's efforts in open access and open research data, showcasing its role in enhancing transparency and data accessibility. Examine its research collaborations and industry partnerships that embody the spirit of open innovation. Discuss the technological and infrastructure support facilitating the university's commitment to open science. Delve into its engagement with knowledge ecosystems and citizen science, illustrating its role in fostering collaborative networks. Lastly, we will look at the university's educational and training initiatives that promote a culture of openness in research and education. At Alexandru Ioan Cuza University, we are aware of the importance of a systematic approach to the directions addressed in open science, which is why the Foster Taxonomy for Open Science has been a key reference point in guiding our actions. In the next slides, we will outline our efforts in embracing these elements of open science in line with Alexandru Ioan Cuza, University of Iasi's open science policy. At Alexandru Ioan Cuza University, we are committed to the principles of open access and open research, making a concentrated effort to ensure that research outputs and data are freely available online. This aligns with international movements towards open access and open data. Our initiatives include utilizing the UAIC library to advocate for open access, supporting the FAIR principles for research data accessibility, and encouraging a cultural shift towards openness within institutions like the Doctoral School of Computer Science. At Alexandru Ioan Cuza University, we are actively involved in open science, aiming to support an ecosystem where innovation can grow through collaborative efforts. Our approach to open innovation is reflected in our commitment to forming partnerships and connections across national and international networks with the goal of making our research accessible and useful to a wider community. Let's delve in some centers from our university. CERNISM Center exemplifies our interdisciplinary method by carrying out extensive environmental research. We transparently communicate our discoveries regarding the human effects on climate change, welcoming international cooperation to jointly confront these critical issues. Ramtech Center. By focusing on advanced materials and photonics, we actively participate in the open science community by disseminating our findings and technologies, aiming to stimulate additional advancements in materials science. Recent AIR showcases an approach centered on open innovation through the establishment of teen research laboratories across 5 geographic regions in Romania. These laboratories concentrate on studying atmospheric aerosols and their effects on climate, the environment, and human health. Another good example is iTransfer, Technology Transfer Center, exemplifies our mission to bridge research and real-world applications. Projects led by the iTransfer Center embody our philosophy of open science, particularly through the promotion of open scientific collaboration and open code practices. The term open triangle, introduced in the link provided below, represents a dynamic domain in open scientific collaboration that goes beyond open data and publications. This distinctive aspect includes a variety of outputs, such as open code, open hardware, platforms for collaboration among scientists, and the transformative phenomenon of citizen science. Open code is another aspect taken into consideration at our university. In the landscape of contemporary research, software is crucial and indispensable across all disciplines. As highlighted in the prestigious 2014 Nature list of the top 100 papers, the importance of software cannot be overstated. Christine Borgman's statement in 2018 underlines the vital connection between data and software. If you don't have the software, you don't have the data. To illustrate, we present a simple example of a research project named Private Sky, which involves experimental development within public-private partnerships to develop native cloud-based platforms with advanced data protection features. With over 1 million lines of code spread across 120 public repositories and 250,000 lines dedicated to core modules, Private Sky represents a significant contribution to the open source community. Another key pillar of open source is the infrastructure that directly supports our professors or researchers and their groundbreaking work. And as examples, we mention Interdisciplinary Research Institute. This institute facilitates interdisciplinary research crucial for addressing today's complex scientific challenges. And the RI4C2 platform supports large-scale data analysis and processing through a cloud-based service, enabling researchers to undertake big data and machine learning projects. By ensuring data accessibility, it aids both our community and external partners, such as SMEs, in pursuing research more efficiently and openly. In the areas of knowledge ecosystems and citizen science, Alexandru Ioan Cuza. University contributes to bridging academia with the broader society via open science. Our efforts, including the Research and Innovation for Cities and Citizens initiative, aim to involve citizens in scientific projects, highlighting our approach to make science accessible and participatory. Additionally, our role in the European campus of city universities seeks to connect academic achievement with community service. The iTransfer Technology Transfer Center works to apply academic research to real-world challenges, such as our partnership with the Iasi City Hall to create navigation systems for the visually impaired. Regarding the promoting a culture of open science, Alexandru Ioan Cuza University, we're deeply committed to integrating the principles of open science throughout our institution. Through diverse educational initiatives and public events, we endeavor to make science approachable and captivating for all audiences. Notable activities: Researchers' Night. This annual event is pivotal in our outreach, transforming the university into a public science hub. It showcases our research breadth through interactive sessions, fostering a deeper public understanding of science and its societal relevance. Open educational resources. The university supports open education by providing accessible and free educational materials, fostering a culture of lifelong learning and knowledge sharing. Facilitating open collaboration, Alexandru Ioan Cuza University employs key tools for connectivity. The BrainMap platform, hosting over 60,500 accounts, serves as a hub for researchers, innovators, and entrepreneurs engaged in RDI activities. Additionally, Alexandru Ioan Cuza University is an active participant in the European Research and Technological Infrastructure System, promoting infrastructure and services across 13 faculties, the Institute, and key research centers. This strategic involvement incorporates 13 research facilities and 43 laboratories, positioning Alexandru Ioan Cuza University at the forefront of collaborative initiatives. As we wrap up, Alexandru Ioan Cuza University's future is clearly focused on enhancing open science. Our commitment is to make research more quality-driven, impactful, and accessible, promoting a culture of collaboration and transparency. Looking ahead, we aim to deepen our open science practices to enrich research quality and accessibility. Invitation to collaborate. We call on everyone to join us in this open science journey, aiming to accelerate innovation for the common good. Essence of open science. It pushes us to see knowledge as a collective voyage, where discovery is a shared, interconnected experience, encouraging a broader participation in the quest for understanding. This presentation succinctly covers the main aspects of the open science policy at Alexandru Ioan Cuza University, illustrating the university's commitment to openness, innovation, and community engagement in research and education. Here are some bibliography links. And in the end, it's nice to remember what Robert Mueller said. What the world needs most is openness. Open hearts, open doors, open eyes, open minds, open ears, open souls. And to that, we add, open science, thank you.
Just to complete this overview on the topic on open science with Laura Niemi, our WP7 representative for the University of Turku. Laura is a development specialist in the research services of UTU, and she is specialized in responsible research, open science, impact, and responsible evaluation of research and researchers, citizen science, and entrepreneurship. So, Laura, please, it's your time.
Yes, so thank you. Nani? Then, thank you, and thank you for presenting what I do. So, one part of my job is to be involved in the project and be a work package leader in WP7, but then my main task in our university is to do strategic development on open science, responsible assessment, and research impact. And I do this strategic development under the together with our Vice Rector Kallantti Suominen, who you met yesterday. But today I'm going to talk about open science policies, and I'm focusing on the policies of open science and research in Finland, and I'm giving this in this presentation this kind of overarching picture how in Finland we have this kind of a strong national coordination on open science, which affects to a lot how we do open science policies in our universities. So I'm not going down deep in the university level, but I'm focusing on the national level and how that work that is done in the national level guides the universities to do their own policies and service design. So in Finland, and in many times when I start talking about open science, whether it's inside our organization or somewhere else, I start from this kind of picture because I think it's really important to understand that there are several key drivers for developing open science, and there are several levels that we operate. So we are not only operating in the local level in the universities, and we can't do only this kind of university level development. When we do the development on open science policies, for example, we need to do collaboration with the national level. We need to do collaboration also in the international level. And I think what is really important is that, for example, our own strategy, which includes open science and impact, and also actions about open science, it is aligned with the national level and international level initiatives and recommendations and policies that there is existing. And the problem, of course, here is the changing environment. So there is constantly a lot of development regarding open science, regarding responsible assessment of researchers. So when the environment is changing, the international environment is changing, the national level is changing, how in universities we can develop such kinds of policies and services which are dynamic enough to also be adapted with the changes, what is happening in the international or national level. And for example, now the Cora Group has a statement on open science, and I was really happy to see that in that statement we have a lot of common what we have already done in University of Turku and in our own policies. And we have already created this kind of own policy on responsible assessment, the core actions. We have we are the first university which has signed into the INORM's initiative about more than our rank, and now it's in the core group statement. So there is, when we are aware what kinds of context we are dealing with, then we can be really this kind of a dynamic, and we can be one step ahead also in a university level. But of course, in Finland, we are developing the open science a lot of also in the national, with the national coordination. So we have a strong national coordination from the Ministry of Education and Culture, and there is this Secretariat for National Open Science and Research Coordination, and the coordination also includes universities, universities of applied sciences, research institute, financiers, libraries, and archives. And for example, I'm really much involved in different working groups in the national level, which, for example, have created the Declaration for Open Science and Research in Finland. So when we do this kind of a national development, and we are already part of that, then we can also bring some this kind of a local level initiatives, international level policy documents. And in Finland, we have this kind of a declaration of open science. Then there are several policies regarding a culture of open science, scholarly publications, research data and methods, and education and educational resources. Then there is also a lot of different kinds of recommendations considering these same topics that the policy documents are considering. So there is quite heavy this kind of policy environment in the national level. But this these policies and these recommendations really give universities these kind of instructions how to move on when developing open science. And now we have had 2 overarching working groups on open science in this kind of a like ecosystem thinking way in Finland, and I have actually been part of both of these national working groups. And the first one about open science and the reference architecture working group, it has ended the work, and the reference architecture is finished, and I will show it in my next slide about that. But this work was a 2-year work where we created this kind of whole picture of what actually open science is and what it is going to be in 2030. And this is also that helps universities to be more dynamic, and this kind of gives an opportunity to see what is going on in the this open science context. And then we are currently have the working group on funding open science and research, and I'm the leader of the open scholarship subgroup, and there is several national funding organizations involved in this work. So hopefully we will create this kind of open science funding model in Finland for maybe within 2 years' time. But I want to show you about our work, what we have done in open science and research reference architecture, because this reference architecture is based on the goals on Declaration of Open Science and Research in Finland, but it is also supplemented the base on the international context. So there is the UNESCO Open Science Recommendation, CORA agreements, and these kinds of all policy documents are taken into account when we created the reference architecture. And the aim is to steer open science and research international level and help implement the open science declarations and policies in the organizational level. And there is a picture about the open science architecture. It's only in Finnish because we haven't made the translation yet, but it is coming soon because the reference architecture is going to be published on 19th of this month. So we have a big, this kind of a seminar where we publish the work of this reference architecture. But there is 6 these service areas. So the reference architecture is helping organizations to plan their services. And this is an example of one service area. So there is several services, which is the first line. And all the services are explained how you can step-by-step plan what do you need to have in place in order to have this service for researchers to support the actions, what the researchers are actually doing in their daily life in several different disciplines. So there is also this kind of a disciplinary specialties taken into account. So this helps universities to plan their own policies, but also plan the services and plan this kind of processes that needs to be in place in order to these policies could be implemented in the practice. And the strength of the OSCAR architecture is that it covers an organizational, national and international levels. Like I said, it's really important to see the whole picture, and it's concrete support for the organization, and it gives a solid base also the funding of open science. And this can be also used when the organizations are doing their guidelines and recommendations. And this also advances and strengthens collaboration and cooperation within in the national level, because all universities are now trying to implement the open science architecture in their own context. And we have several these kind of working groups where we change ideas how actually make the architecture in part of our universities and universities of applied sciences daily life. So that's really good. And challenges is the dynamic content that I said before, but I think that's a challenge when we are dealing with the open science or responsible assessment. There is a lot of advancements and they go really fast. And when we are like really large multidisciplinary organizations, there is difficulties, of course, to be this kind of a dynamic. Then there is a research cultures, and the change of the research cultures is not happening in one night. So there need to be this kind of a systematic way to do it. But the open science architecture is giving this kind of tools for making this happen, because it shows the whole picture, and there is this kind of a steps, and it gives something to rely on. And also one challenge is that who actually takes the responsibility for this, because this is made the request by the Culture of Open Ministry of Culture and Education. They wanted that in Finland we create this kind of thing. So the first initiative came from the ministry. And of course this is made, and we have the national coordination, and they own this architecture. But now universities need to actually implement it in their own practices. So now we are thinking that who are actually the one who can say that this is working or this is not working, and if there's needs some modifications, who are actually the one who can say that this is need to be done and so on. But we have these kind of working groups and good connections and these kind of a network. So I think this is not going to be a big problem in Finnish context, but of course it gives some challenges. But there is, of course, even though there's challenges, there is also opportunities of this open science architecture model, because it helps us to develop also a knowledge-based management. So when we create these kinds of support services, we are also able to create these new infrastructures for open science. And we are able to develop our own systems towards more supportive for the open science practices. So this, when we do this kind of service and design thinking way, and we are trying to implement this way the open science policies in our organizations, then we really can do this kind of development on open science based on the knowledge that we have already gained. And then there is also that this make visible different kinds of skills and cooperation which is required to fulfill the aims of open science, not only our own aims, but the aims which is stated in the national or the international policies and recommendations. So this is actually advancing also the ideas what is behind the responsible assessment reform. So we can make also this enables us to recognize the skills which researchers need to have when they do research, and then we can also give a credit for those required skills. And then in Finland we have this open science monitoring system. So now when if the monitoring system is uses this open science architecture, then everybody knows what is actually monitored. So that makes the monitoring system also more open and also more efficient for the universities. And also the open science architecture could be based also on development in the open science practices and support services and policies in the European level. So this is not only for us, because there is noted all the international initiatives and policies. So this is not only for us, but also for others to support open science. And that was it. Thank you.
It's time to conclude our journey with the last talk of this morning. The RI4C2 journey began almost 3 years ago in 2021, and will culminate this summer in August. But before that, we have an important milestone on highlight in June, which is the launch of the Pan-European Knowledge Ecosystem. And all the details and information about this very, very important event is going to be presented by our global coordinator from the Global Coordination Team, Pauline Bordiec.
Thank you, and thank you for hosting this event in Salamanca. Thank you a lot. It was greatly organized, so thank you. And yes, so as you said, the RI4C2 project started in September 2021 and was funded for 3 years, so it will end in August 2024. And so that's the overview of what I'm going to talk about today. But as defined in our work plan, the final objective of the project is by the end, so by August 2024, to reach the creation of a pan-European knowledge ecosystem. So I would like to go back a little bit on what it means to have a pan-European knowledge ecosystem, because it's maybe not clear for everyone and maybe a little bit obscure. We also call it the PEKE. So if I use the acronym PEKE, it's the same thing, Pan-European Knowledge Ecosystem. So the goal of the Pan-European Knowledge Ecosystem, if you see this chart, is to reach a level that goes beyond collaboration, and of course that is all across the partner universities. And with the RI4C2 activities, we reinforced the 7 individual local knowledge ecosystems that we have in each of our cities. And with the work of the project, all these activities have deepened collaborations, and they have created connection between all local knowledge ecosystems. Of course, at the European level, and at the level of the Alliance specifically. And each of the work package, each of the activities conducted within the work package reinforced those local partnerships on different aspects and also connected them at the European level. So when we reach the end of the project and that all activities have been implemented, we will consider that we have the network, the strategy, the tools to actually establish a pan-European knowledge ecosystem. With all the activities, we will go and reach the top of this chart and get to the pan-European knowledge ecosystem. We have started with some networking activities. Actually, Dana used this chart yesterday to talk about the activities of Work Package 5 on innovation. And we will do the same actually with all activities to reach this pan-European knowledge ecosystem. But of course, I think something that is important is that it will not be done once we create it by the end of the project. It's not because the project ends that the pan-European knowledge ecosystem is settled and ready to live on forever. Of course, it will need to be pursued and nurtured in the future of the EC2U Alliance and especially with the consolidation phase. So the link with EC2U now are more important than ever, and we need to link back all the activities that we implemented with the EC2U Alliance as a whole. And to launch this pan-European knowledge ecosystem, we will organize a specific event in Poitiers in June. So it will take place on the 11th and 12th of June 2024 in Poitiers, as I said. Open to all, so it means specifically that, of course, it involves all the RI4C2 team members, but also all the stakeholders that were involved in the project, and specifically non-academic stakeholders. And of course, as I was saying, we need to think about the future and how it will fit within EC2U. So EC2U colleagues are also, of course, invited to join us to this event, and the general public as well, because this will be our final event for the project, which will be a public event. It will be, I can already say that it will be hybrid. People will be able to join online and follow it online. And the general topic, of course, would be, as you can guess, concluding the project, but also working on the future and our way forward. So here again, the specific objectives, but I think now I made it clear. We will conclude the project and showcase also the links with EC2U as a whole and how RI4C2 paved the way for specific collaboration in R&I within the Alliance during the project that now connects back with EC2U. And of course, we will launch the Pan-European Knowledge Ecosystem. So we will have a main program for all partners and stakeholders, and maybe from the discussion that we had yesterday, I think I can remove the question mark. We will have a specific program for the lighthouses of innovation. So for now, the program is still a draft. It's a work in project. And actually, the goal also today is to get your feedback to build this program together. We have some ideas that we want to share, of course, but it's up to all of us to decide what we want to showcase during this final event. So if I get into more details into this program, it will start on Tuesday afternoon for the public sessions. So for the main program, there will be an opening session with keynote speeches from members of the European Commission. Not decided yet who it will be, but for sure we will have some representatives opening our event. And then we will have presentations from winners of the Makeathon coming from all partner universities who participated in the local Makeathon events, and also from the online European teams that will present their projects. And that same afternoon, the Lighthouses of Innovation will have a specific program. What we propose for now is just a draft, and it can be fine-tuned, of course, but to have a visit of a lighthouse in Poitiers specifically, and to organize a Lighthouses meeting where they can also plan the future together and how they want to continue building this network. And then on Wednesday, everyone will join in for the same program. And we will start in the morning with the traditional RI4C2 session, our final RI4C2 session, and I will get into more details on that later on. We will have an RI4C2 legacy session, so it will really be about presenting all the resources and tools created during RI4C2 that can be reused in the EC2U consolidation phase, and of course, also present the activities that will continue one way or another within EC2U. And then there will be, as a closing session, the launch, such expected launch of the Pan-European Knowledge Ecosystem, and I will also get into more details about that. So here we are. So I would like to focus specifically on the RI4C2 session and the launch of the PEKE today with you. So for the RI4C2 session, the main goal, as described in the work plan, is to present RI4C2 activities. So we would like to focus on activities that were conducted more or less in the last year of the project, last year of the project. But also for the RI4C2 session and the launch of the PEKE session, we want, and it's really important, I think it's the main crucial point here, is to have all work package activities represented one way or another, of course, to showcase that we have this PEKE with all the activities. So what we propose, and again, it's just a draft and up for discussion, nothing is set in stone. We would propose, and also the titles are totally temporary and preliminary titles. We can change that, of course. But we would have, for the RI4C2 session in the morning, a focus on recent activities with diversity of stakeholders. So we could focus on work package 5 activities, like the recipes, the Makeathon, for example, and with work package 6 on also their latest activities with the living labs and the citizen science projects. And then we could also focus on how to have a sustainable network by presenting the open science tools that were created within work package 7 and the tools for researchers' careers as worked and prepared by the work package 3. So that would be for the RI4C2 session, again, really focusing on the latest activities of those mentioned work packages. And then for the launch of the Pan-European Knowledge Ecosystem, the goal, of course, will be to, if I may say so, prove that we have created it, launched it, with several aspects. We have tried to identify different aspects that would show that we have both the Pan-European side and the knowledge ecosystem side. So we will have something on joint R&I activities, which will be more political aspects. So that could concern work package 1 with the work we have done on the sharing of R&I platforms, and the work of work package 2 on the joint EC2U agenda, of course, and the creation of the new virtual institutes. And then we had something focusing specifically on how, again, it's a knowledge ecosystem, and Pan-European, so with a focus on going beyond academia and how Work Package 5 and 6 have involved different kinds of stakeholders with the lighthouses of innovation and the citizen science champions. And I would like to underline that it would be different as what would be presented in the RI4C2 session, because again, the session would be really about activities, specific activities, and for the launch of the Pan-European Knowledge Ecosystem is more a general way of how non-academic stakeholders were engaged in the project. And then we'll also have the digital aspect of the Pan-European Knowledge Ecosystem, because if we want to connect all the local knowledge ecosystems, we need something to connect it, and that would be the digital aspect of the Alliance, so presenting the platforms and the databases developed by Work Package 4. And that way we would have a focus on all of the work packages and presenting all the activities, and I think we will be able to show that we have indeed created a Pan-European knowledge ecosystem that will of course has to be further developed within EC2U. And of course, now the goal is to also get your feedback and opinion so that we can then move on with the program and start inviting speakers. I see by your faces that you just want to go to lunch and you don't want to discuss the program. But basically, it's just, maybe I think the most important thing for us now as coordination team, because we're moving on with the preparation and it's coming up so fast. June is actually tomorrow. So we already need to know if this structure would fit with your work packages, if it looks logical and relevant for you to have something presented this way. But we can, of course, fine-tune it and improve it later on with everyone on board, of course.